What's up, everybody? Chris Neal Disc Golf here, coming to you with episode 2 of building my new bag. Today I'm just going to be focused on mid-ranges. Now, throwing mids isn't something I do a lot. I just can't get distance out of them, so it's more that 200 to 240 distance that I like to use them. Maybe even a little shorter. Probably what most people would use a putter for, but I usually go for a mid. So I took everything out of my bag except the mids that I have that aren't my collectibles or autographs or something. Today I'm going to throw all these probably 10 or 15 times each and narrow it down to my understable, my hyzer flip, my straight flyer, my semi-overstable, and my real overstable disc to put in my bag. So I'm going to film a few shots. I'm going to go through kind of my thought process to each one. It is a little windy, so I don't know how that's going to affect it, but regardless, this is episode 2 of building the bag, focusing on mids. So the first 3 mids I'm going to throw a few times and just see what they do, and if I like them, I got a Champion Rock 3 with a spring flight on it. I got a Titanium Buzz SS, and then I got this Buzz SS with the B stamp on it, which used to be one of my favorite mids. I threw it a lot, but as it got beat in, it got a little slick for me, and I got to where it'd slip out my hand a lot, so I kind of replaced it with something. But I'm gonna bring it back out because maybe I just need to work with it more. So I'm gonna throw each of them flat a couple of times, each of them on an anhyzer a couple of times, and each of them on a hyzer a couple of times, and then I'll decide if one of these 3 are going to make it to my next test with them, or all 3 of them, or none of them. Throwing 3 discs at a time, that's going to be a lot of walking. So I got 11 total. I'm going to throw these 2 in with these. This is just a D-Line MD and a D-Line MD4. They should be flippy, but I'm going to throw these and see which one I like better for my flippy mid on my back. Go hyzer flip. Okay, so after a few throws, the MD and the MD4, I like the MD because it hyzer flips the flat and then rides to the right. I think that'd be real useful. So I'm putting it in the finalist pile. MD4, when I'm throwing it, it hyzer flips the flat, turns a little bit and comes back. So I think there may be a use for it. This Buzz SS, like I said before, it's slick. I've thrown it several times, and I don't like how it comes out of my hand. So I'm gonna put it back in the practice bag for now, maybe reevaluate at a later date. And this Buzz SS Titanium was a hyzer flip to flat, held it the whole way, or if I threw it flat, it holds it flat. So I'm gonna put this in the pile of further evaluation as well. All right, now I've got 3 extremely overstable mids. I've got this MD5 C-Line. I got a Lucid Justice and a Swirly S-Line MD5. This is the one that's been in my bag. These 2 I've not thrown much at all. So I'm gonna see which one I like better to use as my extremely overstable one. Okay, so what I've learned with the MD5 does exactly what I expect. Like it's in my bag. I just like the way it feels in my hand. This MD5, I think it's a little new and it's champion plastic. It's a little more overstable, so I can't quite get the push. So it's definitely going back in the practice bag. And this Justice is way more overstable than this MD5. But when I throw it on an Anheuser, I can get a little more distance, but it dumps hard left. So I'm gonna put it in the stack of the potential maybes. This may end up even being like a good 4-hand woods disc. So moving on to the next stack. So the Rock 3, I've already thrown it a few times. Now I got an EMAC Truth, a 400 GM3, and a Compass from Latitude 64. And I don't know what plastic it is. It's definitely premium plastic. I'm not real familiar with Latitude 64, but I'm mainly just going to throw these 3 because I already know what the Rock 3 do and kind of compare these. Bunch of throws. The EMAC Truth I think is definitely going to go into the further consideration pile. Of course I'll keep this in my bag already, but I just like I put it on an angle when I hold it, it always has a little fade to the left. It holds up the torque. The Compass I'm going to throw a couple more times. I've got it nose up a little bit in this wind, but it just seems like once it comes out it has a long glide, which I think if I can get the nose angle right, that could be useful. The Rock 3, it's very similar to the EMAC Truth, maybe a tad bit more stable finish, but I don't really see myself having 2 discs that close, so I'm going to put it back in the practice bag. And the M3, I've thrown it a lot, but in this headwind, it just knocks it down for some reason. But I'm going to put it in the further consideration, just because I've thrown this disc a few times and know what it can do. I know that the MD5 and the Justice are definitely going in. I know the Truth is definitely going in. This Buzz SS Titanium is definitely going in. So I'm gonna throw my MD3, or my M3, my MD4, my MD, and my Compass. Because all these seem to be a little on the understable side, and figure out which 2 or 3 that I want to keep in the bag for now. So I got my Justice at MD5 is extremely overstable. I got my EMAC Truth, which is pretty stable with a little bit of an overstability finish. And I got my Buzz SS Titanium that it seems like it's just gonna go straight. So now I need to go over to the understable side. Alright, after further evaluation, D-Line MD from Discmania. This thing here is so understable. If you put a lot of power on it, it's a flip up the flat and then just rides. Throw it flat, rides. Medium power, flip up the flat, holds, fades to the right. This is definitely going in the bag. So, Compass and the MD4 are flying pretty similar. I'm gonna throw them a couple more times. The M3 is definitely gonna make the bag. For one, it's premium plastic over this MD4, so I think it'll hold up more. And I just also like the way it feels when I grip it. Grass is a little wet, so I just kind of picked it up and threw it back to the T-pad a little bit, and it just keeps its grip even with a little wetness. So I'm definitely gonna keep that in my bag. It may be only a use when it's a little damp or them early morning rounds type thing. I don't know yet, but it's going in the bag. So now it's between the Compass and MD4. I'm leaning towards the Compass because it's more premium plastic. And this MD4 is a stiff P-line, and a few trees or hit a road, you're gonna miss some chunks and basically ruin it. So I'm kind of trying to build a bag that's gonna last the next 5 or 6 months. Of course, if I lose a disc or, I'm going to try a new disc or something I really like, go in and out. But for the most part, this is going to be my core discs. I'm going to throw these a couple more times each and then make my decision on it. I don't know if you can tell from the camera angles, but I put them on basically the same angle, the same amount of power. They did identical. I think they're sitting 3 feet from each other. With that being said, I think I'm going to go with the Compass because it's more premium plastic, and I think it'll hold up better. All right, so I'm going to consider my mid. All right, so that concludes me weeding out some discs that I got and figuring out what I want to put in my bag for now. Just to recap, MD5 Swirly S-Line Discmania, Lucid Justice with a Western Kentucky Open stamp on it, EMAC Truth Lucid from Dynamic Disc, Titanium Buzz SS Discraft, D-Line MD from Discmania, 400G M3 from Prodigy, and this Latitude 64 Compass, whatever plastic it is. So I'm gonna look this up. It's a Middle Tennessee Disc Golf Association stamp, so I may be able to reach out to them and see if they know. Like I said, I'm not real familiar with their plastic. So yeah, that's a 7 I'm gonna have. I mentioned earlier that I'd like to have 7 mids, 7 fairways, and 7 drivers, 21 discs. That was totally wrong. I like to have 7 mids, 7 fairways, and about 5 drivers, because fairways and mids are what I'm going to use more often. I do need a few drivers for certain situations, and then I like to keep 2 putting putters and a throwing putter as well. I'm not going to do a video on putters because my throwing putter, I got 2 of them. There's a Sky God 3 and a P3X. P3X has the bead, Sky God 3 does not. It depends on what I'm throwing my upshot to. If it's a slick ground, or it's really good mode, I'm going to throw the beaded P3X. If it's a little higher grass, I'll throw the Sky God, but both of them fly about the same. But anyway, that concludes my in the bag, building my bag episode 2 of the mid-ranges. Be on the lookout. The next will be fairways. I've got way more of them to weed through. That might be a two video series. It just depends. After I edit this one out, I'll see how long it is. I'm trying to keep my videos to 5 or 6 minutes. But yeah, so thank you for tuning in. Drop a comment below on what mid-ranges you like to use. Let me know if you have any of these and what you think about them and what they do for you. And until then, get out and fun throwing discs. So drop a comment below. Let me know what mids you like to use. Let me know if you have any of these and what they do for you. If it does something different than it does for me. Until then, get out and have fun throwing discs.